Hi, my name's Jamie at Precision Oven Cleaning, and today I just wanted to talk you through the 15-step process that we use as part of our professional oven cleaning service. So the first thing you'll notice is we make sure the area is fully protected, so we put down protective cloths around the whole of the work surface, and we also make sure the doors are fully protected. All of our products are non-caustic, so in the unlikely event any did splash on a covered front or on the flooring, it's non-corrosive and non-toxic. But we just like to be that extra little bit thorough with our cleaning process. So the first job is to make sure that the oven is all in a good state of repair. We would discuss it with you as a customer to make sure if there's any defects with the oven that we noticed or anything didn't work, we would talk about that before the cleaning commenced. But this one we know is only about 2 years old, so it's still in really good shape. So the first step would be the door is pulled down. We then remove the door. So I'm just going to remove the door now. So we've got 2 little hinge clips just either side of the door. So these just literally pop up and then the door can be removed. That. So the door just literally lifts off like that. What we also do with each of our doors, on this one you can see that there's actually 2 little screws just here either side on this particular model. So this actually comes apart and the glass can be cleaned both sides on the door, so that will come up to look like new again. But we just put this somewhere safe so it's out of the way. Again, as you can see, we put down cloths to make sure everything's fully protected. Then inside the oven we've got the racks and trays, which you can see in just here. So these are all removed. Now this oven has already been cleaned, but for the purpose of to show you what we do, obviously if you imagine that this is dirty and it would obviously need cleaning, but those are put on the side there, and then we remove the side racks. These just pop out like that, and they go nice and safe. Then inside the oven, if you look down here, there's a back plate here, and there's also a fan behind that. So what we do, we make sure this fan plate is removed, and we also remove the fan. So all those bits here, along with all the racks and trays, go into a hot soak tank in the back of the van, and that bubbles away and that releases a lot of the grease and the carbon, and then it's lightly brushed off with the brush then to remove the last remaining bits of dirt. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to remove the back plate and show you how that comes off. So, I'll call this drill here. I'll just get that off. So as you can see, the screws just come out. Now, it's really important to obviously keep the screws safe. So we pop them in a little tub we've got just here, so they're all nice and safe. So that's the fan plate that comes off, and then behind that you can see we've got a fan just here, and we've also got a heating element just here. So what we often find is when we're doing the cleans that it's imperative this is taken off and cleaned, because behind here in most ovens you'll get a big build-up of carbon and grease. So it's really important we get behind all those little nooks and crannies to make sure they're fully cleaned. We also will remove the bulb casing here as well, so that would all be cleaned as well as part of the process. So I'm just going to take the fan off now.
I'll end up cutting this anyways.
So now we're just going to remove the fan. There we go, so the fan's off, and then that gives us access now to the whole of the back of the oven, which we completely scrubbed with a soap solution and degreased and then polished it back up to look like brand new again. Also, just while we're inside the oven, the whole of the roof of the oven will be cleaned as well. So this is all part of our process. So physically, every part of this oven that can be cleaned is cleaned and then polished up to look like new again. What we also do, pop that to one side. We also remove the door seals. So again, we do actually replace these as well. If these, particularly with our older ovens, what we find is the oven seals start to sag eventually, so they'll start to do this motion, and that releases a lot of the heat. So actually you're heating up an oven and a lot of the heat escapes through here. And particularly with a single oven where the control panel would be across here, it can actually start to burn some of the control knobs. So if any of the seals do need replacing, we would advise the customer at the time, and we can order those in and come and fit them for the customer at a later date. So that can all be part of the process as well. So we do offer repairs on that. Also, if any of the fan blades which I've just removed need replacing, we can order those and fit them for the customer. So that is all part of the process. So as I said, now all the oven is completely, all the parts are removed. Everything is completely degreased, scrubbed with the soap solution and cleaned back up. We've talked about the door as well. So once the door is fully cleaned and everything's been put in the soap tank, it's then time to reverse the process and put everything back in the oven. While we're here as well, what we do is just check the condition of the element at the back of the oven, particularly when people have tried to clean ovens themselves using off-the-shelf cleaning products like sprays or foam sprays you can get in supermarkets, which are probably about £2 or £3, but the damage is irreversible. If any of that foam were to get on this heating element, it will actually corrode through the element and then it will stop that working. So then you'd have to pay for a technician to come out and actually replace this element, which could cost you anywhere in the region of 60 to say £100. So it's really important that obviously you don't use any of that off-the-shelf cleaning products. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pop everything back. So we're going to put the fan back on now. Goes back on like that, and we make sure it's nice and tight. The oven is fully checked as well, so once everything's back in place and it's all put back together, we do run the oven to make sure everything works correctly. We'll pop the seal back on, so that just goes back in like that, and we'll then pop on the back plate. Got our screws which we've kept safe, and that goes back on like this. So as you can see, there is actually a lot to the process, which is why for a single oven, which this is, although it's a double oven, this part we're just talking about today, we normally allow around about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do this process. Because you can see everything that there's probably about 10 components that are removed from the oven in total to be cleaned. So we've got to make sure everything's thoroughly deep cleaned and then put back and polished up to look like new again. So we'll just pop this back in. And then just quickly make sure these are all tightened up. Right, that's the back plate back on and nice and secure. And then we'll just put on the side racks and the trays. That's that one in. That's in, all nice and secure. And then the final touch is the racks go back in. Most ovens come with 2 racks, some also come with a grill pan. If this did have a grill pan, it would normally sit around here, and we would do that as part of the process as well, so there'd be no extra cost to do the grill pan. And then last but by no means least, we're just going to pop the door back on. So So the door just goes back in like so. There we go. Make sure the catches are down securely. And then it should close. There we go. It's all aligned and all correctly installed. And what we do then as a last final touch, we make sure the oven all works. Yeah, that's nicely spinning. It's all functional. And it's all polished up, as you can see, to look like brand new again. And then the last part of the process is all the protective cloths that we use to make sure the cupboards are protected on the floors are fully cleaned up. And we make sure that really the only way you'd know we've been in your property is you've got a lovely, sparkly, clean oven. There's no mess and no fuss. So that's just a bit of a snapshot about what we do and how we do it. Thank you very much for your time.